my question is to the Premier. Speaker, last week, a Ministry of Labour investigator ruled that gig workers at Uber Eats are employees, just as the courts have been ruling in cases around the world. The ministry's ruling ordered Uber to stop contravening the Employment Standards Act by misclassifying Uber delivery drivers and start recognizing them as the employees they are. Rather than enforcing its own employment law, however, this government decided to change the law instead by introducing a bill that will deny gig workers the basic employment protections they deserve. Speaker, why does this government think that gig workers deserve fewer protections than other Ontario workers?
Minister of Labour, Training and Skills Development.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm proud of this government under the leadership of Premier Ford. Yesterday, we introduced yet another historic piece of legislation here at Queen's Park, Working for Workers Act 2. And, Mr. Speaker, for the first time in Canadian history, Ontario will be leading on this front, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that all workers have more take-home pay, more workplace protections, and better opportunities for better jobs in this province. That's why, Mr. Speaker, as part of Working for Workers, we introduced foundational rights for gig workers. We know that today in Ontario, 1 in 5 people are working in the gig economy. That's why, Mr. Speaker, our legislation will ensure that they're earning at least a minimum wage, that they have a right to keep tips on top of their wages, Mr. Speaker, that when they have a workplace dispute, that's resolved in Ontario, not in a foreign country. And, Mr. Speaker, I look forward to talking more about our Working for Workers Act in the supplementary.
In the supplementary question.
Speaker, a $15 minimum wage that only applies when an app-based driver has a passenger in the car is like paying retail workers only when they are cashing out a sale. This is not even close to what gig workers have been calling for. Not only will most gig workers be unlikely to see a $15 minimum wage for the hours they work, but they will continue to be denied overtime pay, vacation pay, public holiday pay, termination pay, WSIB coverage, and other employment protections. Speaker, why is this government more interested in protecting the profit margins of app-based companies than in making sure that gig workers can actually earn a minimum wage when they are on the job?
Members will please take their seats. Minister of Labour to reply.
Well, Mr. Speaker, we are the first place in Canada to bring forward foundational rights for gig workers. We know that the world of work is changing. And, Mr. Speaker, that's why we're ensuring that gig workers receive at least a minimum wage. They have the right to keep their tips on top of their wage. They have the right to know how and when they're going to be paid, Mr. Speaker, to bring transparency around their paychecks, including gig workers getting pay stubs for the first time in Canadian history. Mr. Speaker, we are going to ensure that when there is a workplace dispute, they're resolved here in Ontario, not in a country somewhere around the world, Mr. Speaker. If companies want to do business in Ontario, they're going to play under Ontario law and play by Ontario's rules, Mr. Speaker. I can tell you the world of work is changing. We all know that. The economy is changing. 1 in 5 people work in the gig economy. We will ensure that under the leadership of Premier Ford, we'll work for workers every single day.